दो बातें मेरे जहन में आई। एक तो ये कि आप जब कई बार लोग पसंद नहीं करते कि साहब क्यों जाना है, दूसरा कई बार सुरक्षा के कारण भी होते हैं, तो आप हिम्मत करते हैं, जुड़ाव महसूस करते हैं, तब आप इस प्रकार से जो छोटी सकरी गलियां हैं वहां पर भी जाकर लोगों के साथ जुड़ने का एक तरीके से मौका देखते हैं। और लगातार प्रधानमंत्री के इस रोड शो के दरमियान कई बड़े बड़े बैनर्स लगे हुए हैं जिसमें तमाम बातों का जिक्र भी है। उनमें से एक इस बात का भी जिक्र है कि आस्था से नहीं होगा खिलवाड़। काशी में इस बात को पुनर्स्थापित करना कि आस्था से खिलवाड़ नहीं होगा, इस बात को लगातार बीजेपी तमाम मंचों पर कहती रही है। प्रधानमंत्री लगातार अपनी बातों में रखते रहे इस संवाद को। हमारे सहयोगी विनोद जी हमारे साथ लगातार बने हुए थे, शैलेंद्र मिश्र भी हमारे साथ बने हुए। शैलेंद्र, आस्था से नहीं होगा खिलवाड़, ये भी अपने आप में दिखाता है, क्योंकि संकल्प पत्र के माध्यम से जिस प्रकार के बातें लोगों के बीच रखना और उस पर आगे बढ़ना, ये भी एक परिपाटी के तौर पर 10 साल की इस रिपोर्ट कार्ड के साथ में आज प्रधानमंत्री की काशी की गलियों में मौजूदगी, ये भी बहुत कुछ बयां करती है। शैलेंद्र, क्या आप हमें सुन पा रहे हैं? संभवतः शैलेंद्र से हम संपर्क करने की कोशिश करेंगे। विनोद मिश्रा जी,
आनंद, जय श्री राम के नारे लग रहे हैं जोरदार तरीके से, वो भी आपको सुनाई दे रहे होंगे।
बिल्कुल, और आप जो बात कह रहे हैं अशोक जी, क्योंकि ये महादेव की नगरी है, लेकिन जब हम तैयारियों की तस्वीरें देख रहे थे तो भगवान श्री राम के जय घोष के वो तमाम भजन और जयकारे हमको यहाँ काशी में सुनाई पड़ रहे थे तैयारियों में, जो हमने 22 जनवरी और उसके पहले अयोध्या में सुने हैं लगातार। शैलेंद्र, अगर आप हमें सुन पा रहे हैं तो हम फिर से आपसे वही सवाल पूछेंगे कि आस्था से नहीं होगा खिलवाड़ और अपने 10 साल के रिपोर्ट कार्ड के साथ प्रधानमंत्री की मौजूदगी, ये अपने आप में आज की इन तस्वीरों से कैसे आप देख रहे हैं, कैसे जोड़ रहे हैं इसको?
बिल्कुल आर्यन, हम जानते हैं कि बीजेपी लगातार इस बात को कहती रही है कि आस्था के साथ विकास पर आगे बढ़ने का काम प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की अगुवाई में हुआ है। यहाँ पर जो चर्चा हो रही थी मैं उसको थोड़ा आगे बढ़ाना चाहूंगा। 2014 के मुकाबले आप देखें, धार्मिक जो पर्यटकों की संख्या है इसमें बहुत बढ़ोतरी हुई है इसी काशी में, वाराणसी में, और जाम की स्थिति 2014 के मुकाबले अब बहुत बेहतर हुई है। अब जाम कम लगता है, तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि जितना संभव हो सका है घाट से लेकर 3 किलोमीटर तक जहां जहां संभव हो सका है सड़कें चौड़ी हुई है। हमने देखा है कि जो सीवर लाइन है वो पड़ी है। इन 3 किलोमीटर के दायरे के इलाके में कहीं भी आपको मुख्य सड़कों पर लटकते हुए तार दिखाई नहीं देते। तो एक पुरातन शहर को, उसकी विरासत को सजोते हुए किस तरह से आगे बढ़ा गया है, दुनिया के सामने काशी एक उदाहरण के तौर पर उभरा है बीते 10 वर्षों में। और वही बात जो बीजेपी कहती है कि आस्था को सजोते हुए हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, हम अपनी पहचान को मजबूत करते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। तो काशी का हर इलाका इस बात को गवाही दे रहा है, इस बात को प्रदर्शित कर रहा है। और आप तस्वीरों में एक तरह से काशी में हुए विकास की एक झलक भी देख रहे हैं, जिस मुख्य शहर के मुख्य सड़क से ये पूरा रोड शो में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। इसके दाहिने और बाएं तरफ की जो तस्वीरें हैं ये भी ये दिखाती है कि काशी कितनी बदली है बीते 10 वर्षों में, और निश्चित तौर पर उसमें कहीं किसी को कोई इनकार नहीं कर सकता। और घाटों पर अगर आप जाएं तो वहीं से जो तस्वीर दिखती है वो दिखाती है कि माँ गंगा के बुलावे पर आए प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने कितनी चिंता की है काशी की, और वहां से जो विकास की धारा निकली है वो पूरे काशी में न केवल फैलती हुई दिखाई दे रही है, बल्कि उसका हम विस्तार देख रहे हैं काशी और उसके आसपास के क्षेत्रों में।
बिल्कुल, और इस बीच में हमारे सहयोगी, वरिष्ठ सहयोगी लालचंद सिंह जी जुड़ गए हैं अशोक श्रीवास्तव जी की जगह। लालचंद जी, स्वागत है आपका स्टूडियो में। और निश्चित तौर से हम लोग लगातार रोड शो की बात कर रहे हैं, तस्वीरों को दिखा रहे हैं और इसका जिक्र भी लगातार आप देख रहे हैं, और ये विहंगम दृश्य बहुत कुछ बयां करते हैं। आपको लगता है कि ये तस्वीरें अपने आप में क्या कुछ कहती हैं, तब जबकि चुनाव के बीच में आज चौथा दौर दिखाई पड़ रहा है? लालचंद जी,
धन्यवाद आरेंद्र। जब ये तस्वीरें मैं देख रहा हूं तो मुझे साल 2019 का जो अंतिम चरण का चुनाव था वो मुझे याद आ रहा है, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री ने वाराणसी में जाकर कैंप किया था और बड़ी चर्चा थी इस बात की कि कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कि प्रधानमंत्री बहुमत को लेकर आशंकित हैं, इसलिए वाराणसी में इस तरह से कैंप किए हुए हैं। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री ने ये साबित कर दिया था उस बार कि जैसे कि महेंद्र सिंह धोनी स्लॉग ओवर में खेलते हैं क्रिकेट में, वैसा ही खेलने के लिए वो वाराणसी उस बार गए थे। तो ये तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हैं किस तरह छतों पर से भी खासतौर पर महिलाएं प्रधानमंत्री की एक झलक पाने के लिए वहां पर मौजूद हैं। और आर्यद्र, हमारे साथ हमारे सलाहकार संपादक विनोद मिश्र जी भी बात करने के लिए जुड़े हुए हैं। मैं विनोद जी से बातचीत को वहीं पर ले जाता हूं। विनोद जी, जिस तरह से कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की ये तस्वीरें मैं देख रहा हूं, और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के साथ मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने अभी एक जनसभा में उन्होंने कहा था कि मैं वाराणसी का सांसद हूं तो योगी आदित्यनाथ मेरे मुख्यमंत्री हैं। तो ये जो दोनों का, अगर मैं साहित्यिक शब्दों का इस्तेमाल करूं।
Welcome back. All eyes on Varanasi as Prime Minister Modi is holding a roadshow in the city as we speak, and you can see those live, colorful visuals coming in. And before he files his nomination from this holy city, and that is going to happen tomorrow. Today is the eve, and this is, of course, considered extremely auspicious. It's an auspicious period as it falls under the Abhijit Muhurat and Anand Yog as per Hindu Panchang. Well, Kashi is coloured in saffron this election as it has been in the past decade, ever since the Prime Minister decided to contest from the seat in 2014. Not to mention, Kashi has been a BJP bastion since 1991, with the Congress having breached it only once in 2004. But the magnitude of the BJP's performance grew exponentially with the Prime Minister stepping into the fray. In terms of development, Varanasi has undergone a sea change with the Kashi Vishwanath corridor, the construction of ring roads, the enhancement of roads and bridges and networks coming up, the establishment of a cancer hospital and a cricket stadium. The focus on cleanliness, especially in Kashi, has won the hearts across the constituency. Moreover, the removal of overhead power cables has also enhanced the city's aesthetic appeal, leading to improved living conditions and safety standards, and of course, a good view everywhere you go. All in all, with less than 3 weeks to go before polling day, it remains uncertain whether Kashi will be fiercely contested or not. But we'll nevertheless talk about it. Joining us on the program to give their perspective is Mr. G.C. Tripathi, former Vice Chancellor of BHU. Dr. Sharat Kohli, Senior Economist, also joins us on the program. Mr. Vivek Menon, Urban Planner, also joins us on the broadcast. Last but not the least, Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, with us on the program as well. Dr. Kohli, I'll begin with you. Whenever we have had a conversation, Dr. Kohli, we've discussed development, we have discussed infrastructure, we have discussed technology, we've discussed AI, chips, China and India's economy and GDP. Kashi, is a very small example, a microcosm of an example when it comes to, how development can start from a point, where there was no development 10 years ago, and go to the extent of wooing almost everybody in this part of the country to be, enthralled by what the Prime Minister and the BJP has done in the last 10 years. Is this also, in every way profoundly and deeply connected with what India has also gone through culturally, socio-economically, globally, as well as, the perception that people have of India? Can this also be considered a parallel to what Kashi has seen and what India has seen, if you get my point?
Got your point, Vineet. Good evening to you, to my fellow panelists and to NewsX viewers. Absolutely. I mean, normally what happens is when there is a star candidate or when there's a prime minister or some minister from a state, you find that particular region growing exponentially as compared to rest of the country. Obviously, because that grabs more attention, that grabs more development, more funds, and so on and so forth. But the best part is that, as you rightly said, obviously Kashi may have, because Kashi was in such ruins before this development started. I've seen Kashi then, I've seen Kashi now. I mean, those by-lanes of reaching the Kashi Vishwanath Mandir, there used to be queues, there used to be touts, there used to be that dhakka mukki, loads of people on streets, some people able to reach, some people not able to reach, some people losing their wallets. It was an absolute chaos, although the sanctity of the place was the same. I mean, Kashi Vishwanath Mandir was there then, Kashi Vishwanath Mandir is there now. But how you reach the mandir was a different story altogether. Then I had the privilege of visiting the new corridor also as well. And a very simple example, I spoke to some of the traders there around the place, around the streets, within 2 kilometers. Wherever I went, I spoke to them. One common answer which I got from all of them was that our business has grown 10 times. And why has it grown 10 times? Because the number of people who come, people are not scared to go now. Some of the people who are used to this pushing and, falling down here and there on the streets, well, some people don't mind. But most people do mind. They cannot visit the place. They know the place, the deity they want to visit. they cannot go and even stand for 1 second there at peace, then probably I would think twice. I'm better off not going, or I like to postpone it to some other season when there is no crowd, although there was hardly any season when there was no crowd. Now, what has happened is that Prime Minister's candidature from there has not just propelled the development, but we should keep in mind that Prime Minister is not a candidate from every part of the country. So, for the people who say that, just because Prime Minister is the candidate, so Kashi has seen exponential development. That's not true, because this is reflected in India's GDP, in India's overall growth. Pick up one sector, and I can give you a lecture on that sector. Pick up any, whether it is agri sector, whether it is industrial sector, whether it is mining, whether it is any sector for that matter, the rural sector. Every sector has seen growth. Now, as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, now here Prime Minister is playing a dual role. I remember what you just said, that he said, my Chief Minister is Yogi Adityanath, and I am his candidate. So he's got a double role as a member of parliament from that region. Apart from that, he's the Prime Minister. So he's very rightly played both his roles. As a elected member of parliament from that place, it is his responsibility to see that the place get developed. And in fact, this is the responsibility of all parliamentarians. Why should only the Prime Minister as a candidate? Every parliamentarian must ensure. I'm sorry to say, but I know some parliamentarians who never visited the place after their win. They never went back there. Even if they went in guest appearance. But even if you are not going, you can at least ensure that adequate funds are used for the purposes for which they are needed. But unfortunately, for many of the parliamentarians, that did not happen. Prime Minister has done his duty as an elected member of parliament from that place by developing that place. Now, the second role, as a Prime Minister, he's developed the entire country. So if somebody says just because he was the Prime Minister, this became a VIP constituency, I'm afraid I don't agree with them, because that was the case if only Kashi had seen development. Well, look at the rest of Uttar Pradesh. There is a film city coming up. There are expressways coming up. We just see what happened in Ayodhya. There are so many projects coming into UP that nobody can say that only Kashi was developed, or only Ayodhya for that matter was developed. So apart from the religious importance, I think, as you rightly said, it is the will of the government. If the government really wants the country to develop, there is no way anybody can stop. You can have a few noises being raised here and there that this area is agreed. Some areas may have been developed quicker, whereas some areas may get developed a little after that. After all, there is a pace at which the work goes on in each part of the country, because there are various factors which drive that. There are factors like clearances, there are state governments there are fund allocations which are different to different places, there are logistic issues, there are sometimes there could be climatic issues, there could be miscellaneous issues. But then the fact is that this country has seen unprecedented 100 lakh crore plus of infrastructure development since 2019 itself. I'm not talking of 2014 to 19, which was another era. But from 2019 onwards, the government was very committed, and this infrastructure development has been seen is unprecedented. And besides that, Prime Minister said that this is just a trailer. So I am wondering, if 100 lakh crore plus is a trailer, what will be the full movie like? Probably we are looking at probably 2 trillion, 3 trillion. We are looking at that kind of money, and you can imagine where this will take the country. So for the people who say that there is a problem I keep hearing people that, they are not addressing the problem of unemployment. Now, it makes me laugh, because when, by economics, if you are investing on infrastructure, if you are developing places like Kashi, Ayodhya, there is no way employment is not being generated. Go and ask the people there, Baba. You don't need to make any speculation. Just go to the ground, talk to the people. You cry of unemployment, but go and find if there are actually unemployed people there or not. You're just making speculations in the air. So fact of the matter is that Kashi is transformed. Kashi is a different place. People are happy. Businessmen are happy. There are hardly any unemployed people, and Kashi is also serving its surrounding areas. It is helping develop the entire region.
Exactly, and it's also a source of inspiration as well. Mr. Menon, we spoke the last time. Kashi is an example of how a city can be turned around. You heard Dr. Kohli, and if you joined us an hour earlier, we've been following the Prime Minister's roadshow since it began at 5 o'clock, and we must have spoken to about 40 to 50 people from different communities, the Sindhis, the Bengalis, and the Sikhs in Kashi, and all of them praised the Prime Minister, and all of them lauded the kind of transformation they saw in Kashi. They in fact also said that whatever was said was done. Now, this is in fact not true of most of the constituencies, of most of the politicians in our country, but when it comes to Kashi, it sets the bar extremely high. In your opinion, what kind of a transformation and what kind of a transference of energy are we witnessing at this point in time through a city like Kashi?
Well, firstly, I completely laud the Prime Minister for the kind of work that he's done in his constituency. At the end of the day, if it is going to serve as a model for the rest of the country, then be it so. Now, of course, I'm not going to dispute what my former colleague on the show said. But at the same time, there are 545 constituencies in this country. And each of them does not have a Prime Minister. It's got a member of parliament. Coming down to the south over here in Bangalore itself, Bangalore's seen tremendous growth over the past 2.5 decades, despite which government was in power. But, our MPs over here, we've had 3 BJP MPs. Most of them are a no-show when it comes to most of the development that we see around here. And, you're talking about Bangalore, which is a city, obviously, that's, 100 times probably bigger than Kashi itself. So I think in a certain sense, what has happened is that, yes, there are spurts of growth in different parts of the country. There's a lot of focus on UP. And for the same reasons that I reiterated in the past, the fact of the matter is they have 80 seats, and that gives the BJP a leg up when it comes to winning this election. But if you look at other parts of the country, and I've traveled a lot across South India, I've gone to Rajasthan quite a bit, you still see open gutters, you still see unplastered buildings, you still see, open cables. Like I think they were saying that most of Kashi is probably gone underground. I was looking at some Google images of Kashi. If you go into the inner cities of Kashi, the urban development in the inner cities is nothing as to what the BJP today brings it out to be. Yes, you can go to Tent City or you can go to the Namo Ghat and you'll probably see a lot of grandeur. But at the same time, it's not across the board. And let me tell you something. Yes, India has grown, and India continued to grow from the early 1990s into the 2000s at a rate of 7.5%, 8%. Right? Today, if you look at the indicators, yes, growth has slowed down. It's down to 5.5%, 6%. But that being said, this growth is not across the country. The allocation of funds to the south has been extremely dismal. And if we are going to be paying for the development of the north, then yes, there are going to be tensions that are going to be building. And let me tell you that, urban development, city development across the board has not been emphasized upon, has not been really brought about. Yes, we do have highways connecting various cities, and those highways are good. They were started during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee regime, taken down through the Congress, and of course, they're continuing to build them. We do have airports. That have been built on a PPP model. Now, let me remind the viewers over here that those airports, which were built in the major cities, were built during the early 2000s. Bangalore was inaugurated in 2008. Hyderabad before that. So let's not talk about development all being attributable to Narendra Modi. Yes, Narendra Modi is a great showman. He's a great seller. He has, sold the country to the rest of the world, and I don't dispute that. But what I'm trying to focus on here is to say that development has to be across the country. It has to be in all 545 constituencies of the country. And the bottom line is, just some amount of grandstanding, building large, temples. We have enough of temples in this country, but you're building new temples. Be it so. You're developing new old temples, and that's great also. But at the same time, I think the quality of life indicators of people is what really matters. And when you look at quality of life indicators, you've got to look at aspects like education. You've got to look at health. You've got to look at natural living environment. You've got to look at employment. And I'm not necessarily convinced that the numbers that the government puts out, because many of the numbers that the government puts out cannot be relied upon. Where are the other agencies, the government institutions that used to put numbers out? Where is the CAG, the Comptroller and Auditor General? Why aren't his numbers being put out? Today, most of the numbers come out from this thing. So, in a sense, yes, India is growing, and I'm happy for that. We will continue to go despite the government at the center. India has grown despite the government, and we will continue
Mr.
to grow.
Just hold on to that thought. I can see a lot of alacrity from Dr. Kohli and Joyita Basu. They want to respond to you. But before we do that, let me just quickly cut across to my colleague Devika, who's been with us throughout this journey since we started following the Prime Minister's roadshow. And those are live visuals coming in, and you can see the excitement. It's not dispelling it. In fact, it's building exponentially over the last few minutes. Devika, where are you right now? You've spoken to a number of people, and all of them unequivocally have vouched for the Prime Minister and the development that we have seen in Kashi. Speak to the people that are around you at this point in time. Try and ascertain what they feel about what the Prime Minister and the BJP has done for Kashi in the last 10 years.
Yes, Vineet, we're just about 200 meters from the Kashi Vishwanath Mandir and the corridor, and I was listening to Mr. Menon very keenly right now before you came to me about how he said that all the development in Kashi can't be attributed, or in India can't be attributed to Narendra Modi. But the fact that lakhs of people have come out today to just get a glimpse of Narendra Modi means that he must have done something right. And on that note, let me bring in the voice of the people itself, the voter itself, who will come out on the 1st of June to vote for their next leader from Kashi. भाई साहब, काशी में क्या विकास देखा है पिछले 10 साल में?
अरे काशी में विकास ही विकास है पिछले 10 साल में। काशी में क्या, पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में, पूरे भारत में सिर्फ विकास के सिवा कुछ नहीं हुआ है। मैं वैसे मैनपुरी का रहने वाला हूँ। मैनपुरी विधानसभा लोकसभा में भी कमल की ही जीत होगी। वहाँ पर डिम्पल यादव बिल्कुल हार रही हैं, 1-2 लाख वोटों से हार रही हैं डिम्पल यादव वहाँ पे।
मैडम, महिलाओं के तौर पे आपने काशी में क्या विकास देखा है, क्या पसंद आता है अब काशी में आपको?
सुरक्षा महसूस करते हैं। अब पहले इतनी सुरक्षा नहीं थी, अब सुरक्षा महसूस करते हैं।
आप बताइए भाई साहब, काशी में क्या विकास देखा है पिछले 10 साल में?
नहीं हुआ है मैडम, ऐसा कौन सा चीज है, कौन सा क्षेत्र है जहाँ डेवलप नहीं हुआ है? जो यहाँ हुआ वो कहीं नहीं हुआ है। बनारस कभी जो अब जो ना जाने वो कह ही नहीं रहे क्या नहीं हुआ। कौन सा क्षेत्र है जिस क्षेत्र में बनारस विकास नहीं हुआ है? और ये अब पूरा अखंड भारत होने वाला है, अखंड भारत।
भाई साहब, लोगों का कहना है कि सिर्फ काशी कॉरिडोर ही बनाया, बाकी और कुछ प्रधानमंत्री ने ऐसा करा नहीं है बनारस में। आपका क्या कहना है? वो कह रहे हैं कि बाहर का जो बनारस में अभी भी आउटर सिटी है, वहाँ ज्यादा कुछ खास किया नहीं है। आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे इस पे?
हर हर मोदी, मोदी जी ने हर जगह, जब से वो 10 साल से इधर आए हैं, हर जगह उनका डेवलपमेंट किया है। अभी इंडिया में क्या, सारा वर्ल्ड में ये सबसे बड़े नेता हैं। इनका क्या है ना, जो भी काम किए हैं ये सब दिखता है। पब्लिक इनके लिए पूरा खुश है। बहुत सारा डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, जो ये आने के बाद इतना सारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप हुआ है इंडिया में। और मोदी जी का और अभी कोई हराने वाला नहीं है उनको। आगे इन्हीं का नाम चलेगा, हर हर मोदी, हर हर मोदी, हर हर मोदी।
भाई साहब, अगर आपसे पूछे कि काशी में विकास क्या हुआ है आपसे 10 साल में, हमें कुछ ऐसा बताइए। रोड साफ हुई है, क्या बना है ऐसा काशी में?
बनी है, ये अपने जिस रोड पे अभी खड़े हुए हैं, ये पिछले कभी मैंने इतनी अच्छी बनते हुए नहीं देखी थी। प्रॉपर ढलाई होकर ऐसी बनी है कि आने वाले 20-25 साल तक इसको छूना नहीं पड़ेगा। और विकास हर जगह हुआ है, खास तौर से यात्रियों के। यात्री चाहे वो स्टेशन से आए, चाहे एयरपोर्ट से आए, उसको बनारस पुराना वाला नहीं दिखाई देगा, उसको एकदम नया बनारस दिखाई देगा।
भाई साहब, आप बताइए काशी में क्या विकास हुआ?
मैडम, काशी में बहुत विकास हुआ है। ओवरब्रिज आप देखेंगे तो समस्या सारी खत्म हो चुकी हैं, और सुंदरीकरण तो इतना हो गया है कि पिछले 5 सालों में बहुत, मतलब आप समझ सकते हैं कि घूमने के बाद एक आनंद आ जाता है।
भाई साहब, आप बताइए काशी में क्या विकास हुआ है पिछले 10 साल में?
काशी में जो विकास हुआ, अद्भुत विकास हुआ है। आप तो आई होंगी 10 साल पहले काशी क्या था, आज काशी क्या है। ये अलौकिक है, ये कोई ये सामान्य पुरुष नहीं कर सकता।
मोदी जी कर सकते हैं ये?
मोदी जी भगवान के स्वरूप है भैया, वो सब कुछ कर सकते हैं इस समय।
शक्ति होगी कि वो भगवान स्वरूप है, लेकिन हाँ इतना है कि जो परिवेश में
जो परिवेश में आज काशी को उन्होंने दर्शा दिया है और पूरे इंडिया में वो दिखा रहे हैं, अब फॉरेन कंट्री में जो उनका वैभव जा रहा है, ये यहाँ की जनता को अभी नहीं, आज के 20 साल बाद जो हमारे आएगी पीढ़ी वो देखेगी।
आपके अब सारे दोस्त परिवार सब आए हैं क्या यहाँ आज मोदी जी को?
अरे आए, आप कहाँ हैं? आप अचंभित, आप यहाँ आए हैं, इससे बड़ा उपलब्धि क्या है? बनारस को कौन देखता था? गलियां इतनी, जिसको आज इन्होंने इतना ब्रॉड किया, टीम टाइम झाड़ू।
भाई साहब, काशी में क्या विकास देखा है पिछले 10 साल में?
जी,
विकास क्या देखा है काशी में?
बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है विकास, हर जगह विकास ही विकास है पूरा यहाँ पर।
कुछ बताइए हमारे दर्शकों को जो काशी नहीं आए, आप क्या बोलेंगे जब वो आए तो क्या देखें यहाँ पे, क्या बदला है आपके हिसाब से?
मोदी ने कॉरिडोर बनाया सबसे पहले तो, और काशी को ऐसा सजा दिया है कोई सजा नहीं सकता, और हर जगह में साफ सफाई, तरक्की, हर चीज है।
भाई साहब आप बताइए, काशी में क्या बदला है 10 साल में?
सबसे पहले मोदी जी को इस चीज के लिए धन्यवाद, जिस काशी में लोग नहीं आना चाहते थे उस काशी की आज आप रंगत देखो। इतनी बड़ी रंगत जो आज से 10 वर्षों के पहले काशी में नहीं थी, वो आज रंगत आप देख पा रहे हो। इसी के लिए मोदी जी का धन्यवाद, और मोदी जी फिर से आएंगे, इसमें कोई संशय नहीं, और पूर्ण बहुमत से आएंगे। फिर से एक बार मोदी सरकार।
भाई साहब आप बताइए, काशी में क्या विकास देखा है?
काशी में बहुत ज्यादा विकास हुआ है, पूरे यहाँ के रोड, कोई नहीं सोचा था जो काशी विश्वनाथ का कॉरिडोर बनेगा, वो किसी ने कोई कल्पना नहीं किया था। और मोदी जी ने जो इस बार कहा है कि 400 पार होना है, तो वो 400 पार होके रहेगा। हर हर मोदी, घर घर मोदी।
मैडम, एज अ फीमेल, एज अ वुमन, महिला के तौर पे आपको क्या लगता है? Okay, of course, the women are very, very shy, but as you heard, once again, we're standing at a different point, but the sloganeering and, of course, the message is the same, that once again, the people of Kashi do want Narendra Modi to come back as their member of parliament. They take a lot of pride in the fact that the Prime Minister of the country is, in fact, from their constituency.
Right, absolutely. And once again, for the record, Joyita, not a single person that we have heard in the last hour and a half complaining or criticizing or admonishing or rebuking the Prime Minister or the kind of work that has been done. Of course, Mr. Menon thought, of course, he's entitled to his own opinion, that there are still some areas in Kashi that need development as well. But I guess it's a slow process, right?
Well, when you're looking at any city, every city has its own problems, and I'm certain even Bangalore has, not one or two. There are loads and loads of problems that your panelist was talking about. The fact of the matter is that however much one may hate Mr. Modi, or however much one may hate BJP, the fact is you cannot deny the work that has happened. Say for example, specifically when you are looking at Kashi and Varanasi in general, it was when I went back, first I went, I went there to cover the elections in 2014. And okay, it was just another city, it was the Varanasi we had always seen. By 2019, I went back and the city had transformed itself from flyovers to wide roads. The cleaning up process had started, the Vishwanath corridor had, they had started, work had started over there. And after that, I have not had the good fortune to go back. But yes, from whatever the visuals and all that I see, it is one of the most sought after, if it is perhaps the most sought after tourism destination in India today right now. It is even attracts more tourists, / pilgrims than even Goa does. Okay. So, just a pilgrimage, religious tourism is a very big thing in India. So, Kashi is taking a right direction in this, and in terms of health and also, for example, it's very wrong to say that nothing has happened. Say Kashi, if I remember correctly, there is this cancer hospital that has been built in BHU. I remember it was coming up at sometime around 2019, if I remember correctly. BHU, that hospital, it has conducted over 32,000 surgeries. It came up in 10 months. If you go to the railway station over there, it absolutely looks like an airport, and that kind of development is also going into Ayodhya. If the previous governments have been so.
Joyita, we have a paucity of time. Let me quickly.
Here, can I say one more thing quickly? And if development is irrespective of government. I will just give the tiny example of the banking sector in this country. What had happened to the banking sector in this country? Remember the NPA burden.
One NPA after the other.
One NPA after the other, and look where the banking industry has gone. So, you see, development is not government neutral. You have bad government, you get a bad infra, you get bad economy. If you have got a good government, a focused leader, you get a
Let me also rope
difference.
in. Yeah, let me also rope in Mr. Tripathi quickly. Yeah, he hasn't spoken abhi tak. Mr. Tripathi, if you can hear me, sir.
Am I audible?
So you've heard the argument mostly in favor of the development that has gone into Kashi. As a former Vice Chancellor of BHU, what would you categorize this development as?
The glorious ancient city Varanasi has taken tremendous steps in various fields of overall development and growth. We all know that Swachh Bharat mission, community infrastructure improvement, amenities for public welfare, other infrastructure facilities installation, public utility infrastructure, and we all know that Prime Minister has laid down foundation of various projects worth 13,000 crores, and that effort of the Prime Minister is on the basis of his experience in the field of society, polity, economy, and also in the field of culture of this nation. And that's why he selected Varanasi. And Varanasi is going to become a model in respect of not only growth and development, but also in respect of social values, cultural values, which are the root cause of success of India as Vishwaguru. We all know that whole development process cannot be completed within a due course of time. It will take time. Now Varanasi is a model where we see an approach to development which is integrated and holistic. We want to see Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha together. Not only this, Prime Minister also wanted to connect one community with other community, one region with other region. And we all know that first time in my memory, Kashi Tamil Sangam is the best example of connectivity of one society with another. We all know that every region, every individual has specialities, special values, special orientation. So if we connect one community with other, one region with another region, then development process will be integrated and holistic, which will sustain.
Sir. Unfortunately, sir, we have run out of time. I appreciate everyone who joined us, and I know there were a lot of things that the other panelists wanted to say, but we'll accommodate them at a later date.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.